I'll tell you the wake up this morning, and often I'm fed by that, was chop wood, carry water. Um, Pretty ancient Zen dir direction for all of us, really. What do you do daily? What does one do in their life, especially in either times of nothing to do or times of peril? What do you do? Well, chop wood, carry water. Of course, what does that mean? I mean, obviously, it's pretty simple. In the old days, chopping wood meant lighting a fire in your house, cooking, heating, helping your family stay comfortable, warm, cozy. Carrying water meant that you didn't have a faucet that you turned on. You didn't get to just put your pot under the water and boil water to cook. You had to go out and carry the water, bring it into your home, store it somewhere, use it. It was really an effort to have a simple life in which water was a part. We don't have that problem anymore. We have we don't have to chop wood. We have we throw a switch, heat, cool. We turn on the faucet, hot water, cold water. I mean, we have unbelievably easy, comfortable lives. But the directive of chop wood, carry water is still in play. But you have to understand for yourself what is the essence of chopping wood and carrying water in your day to day life. Of course, it involves simple things like going to the grocery store and buying groceries, preparing meals. As Rudy would say, your spiritual life starts with making your bed in the morning, something I know a lot of people don't do, but I would recommend just as a simple act of consciousness. Chopping wood and carry water is simple stuff. Take the garbage out, bring the garbage cans back. Um, you each have your list. I know you all have your list of what you do every day, and sometimes it gets complicated. People get sick, plans change, life changes around you. And we're in a moment of time where that's happening in a big way. Life as we know it is altering around us with great dramatic flair. And this week, on the morning of the debate, or the day of the debate, I got all these phone calls from so many people, everyone expressing a communal anxiety. How is this going to go? Where is it going to go? What's going to happen? Oh my God. They're starting to feel, maybe not starting, but feeling the the possibility of the temperature rising in our culture, in our lives, real change possibly coming about that is foundationally unraveling and difficult. Uh, Chopping wood and carrying water under certain circumstances becomes particularly difficult uh, when the life around you is not what it was. You know, you can't rely on old paradigms. You have to find new ones. And we may have to all be doing that in a fairly short time. And how do you how do you navigate waters that are so disruptive if they are? Because we don't know. The certainty of life right now is really at a very difficult space. We not knowing is probably more potent for us now than knowing, and where things will go in a future projection, which you know you can get caught up in or not caught up in, depending upon your psychology and your training. But the future is rushing at us with an incredible unknowability. And so here we are, students of a spiritual practice that should help us. And yet, so many people on the phone, many from this group, saying, yikes. And I deeply, deeply empathize. And I'll tell you why I empathize, because just like you, I'm totally human, totally available to the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, whatever may arise or not arise in our lives and our culture. And one way or another, we are going to be witnessing what could be massive transformative change. And I've been talking about it the last few weeks, every week with a little bit of a shift in the tone. But this is a really monumental time. And so, where does chopped wood carry water come in to all of this? And I'm going to suggest that it's still the core of everything. Chopped wood carry water is go about your day, live your day, whatever that may be, however the day starts to unfold, even if it's unfolding in a worldwide crisis, you live your day. I saw photographs this morning of kids singing and dancing in the Ukraine. And I was like so touched by it because their lives are much more impinged upon by world events than ours right now. But they went about their day. I can't say it was necessarily chopping wood and carrying water, but it was a kind of an embrace of the world, of continuation, of going about your business. And you have to know, in a sense, what your business is. And mostly it is taking care of yourself. I suppose you can put yourself first, but it may also be taking care of the other, if there's others in your life, trying to be available to being a caretaker for, a lover of, a supporter of the beings around you. And I've talked about this a lot as well, because I think one of the great teachings of life is the other and learning how to put the other in a primary position where you're serving them becomes a purpose. Chopping wood and carrying water can, of course, serve you, but it also serves everyone in your environment, taking care of the day to day, whatever that may be. And it may just be a phone call going, "Hi, how are you?" It could be, sitting at someone's bedside. There's so many choices that can be made in the chopping wood, carrying water dynamic. But you have to begin to identify for yourself what what are those? What are those choices? And this is a time where making decisions is not all cerebral. It's not all coming from thinking and from the programming of your brain over the course of your entire life that kind of sets you up for whatever is going on around you. People who have only the mind to guide them are going to run into trouble because the mind creates a lot of hostility and difficulty, it can, in the body, unless you have a very extraordinary mind that can dissect and analyze and be simple and quiet and profound in its own awareness. Most people's minds are very volatile and they create a lot of havoc inside the body, inside the psyche, and we have to live with that. And if there's ever a time that we've been going through where that kind of disruption can happen, we're there. So Rudy, who claimed the mind was the slayer of the soul, had something going there. Where the mind is problematic, and the way to deal with chop wood, carry water is to still the mind and find a way in the depth of your being and in the heightened reality of your awareness of the eternal nature of your being. There is a way to move forward every day that takes care of business and experiences, if you will, the eternal in the mundane. The eternal in the mundane is it has never been other. Disruption has always been part of the human condition. Why? I'm not going to answer that. Your mind can try to play with that and give you all sorts of reasons. You can read lots of books and listen to lots of teachings. I don't think there's a real great answer to the why, although you may want to program yourself with some understanding that makes you feel calm. But the extraordinary thing of the practice of the idea of going deep into your psyche, into the space that is released from the impingement of mind, is to go deep into your psyche and see that there's this strange, amazing kind of joy. There's this strange something sitting at the core of who you are that's kind of, huh, kind of amazed by it, really, kind of engaged in many ways, but also you can go inside and just, oh, you watch the unfolding of this unbelievable thing, but from a place of strange comfort. You recognize deep inside yourself that there's a witness to this universe. And that witness is still pointed, it is embracing, it is beyond knowledgeable, it is wise in ways that we cannot understand, it is filled with wholeness rather than particularity. It just absolutely holds you in place and goes, and finding that, which is what our practice is about in many ways, what every life is about. I mean, there are ways to get here, I suppose, but this happens to be one of them. And the thing I have found for myself, and so I sit here and talk to you week after week for decade after decade, is to say that there is this space that is discoverable. Most of you have found it, most of you have touched it, most of you have been in there, many of you stay in there. But it is a real space that is allowing the dynamic of the unknown reality that is manifesting to make itself known. It is shifting now in such big ways that it pulls us out of our center, out of our core, out of our awareness, and leaves us in many cases shaken up. And I wake up some mornings thinking, and then suddenly, I don't know where it comes from, the cloud of darkness just descends, and I'm going, oh my God. And it's like really disturbing. And I feel the world closing in. And so I have to do whatever it is I do. Part of it is my walk every morning, trying to walk around. Part of the joy of my walk, just so you know, because I do it as a meditative experience in many ways and also as a health thing, is walking around my home. And I think I've described this. It's kind of like walking in circles, but it's not as empty as that. And one of the things I have in my home is a screen that my kids gave me for a birthday, my 80th birthday, I think. And it's a screen in which you program with photographs of all these people that you love and all these moments in your life from early on to really early on, but your parents and your cousins from when you were 5 years old to now. And they flash on with no order. So they just kind of come. And as I walk through my house, which is also wonderfully embracing because it's filled with manifestations of joy for me and for Blanche. And I walk by this screen over and over, and people pop up. Many of you, and you pop up, and I go, oh, and they pop up at different ages. So I have people like my grandchildren when they were 2, suddenly followed by my grandchildren at 13, and I just have this witnessing of the continuity of this unbelievable thing we're on, this journey we're on, and the beauty of it. And we can now, this is obvious, I think, but we can now take pictures of our children and our grandchildren in a way that it could not happen when I was a kid. We had some, but nothing like what's available now. So you can watch a whole life flower in front of you. And when it's happening out of order, when it's just going on, you get this sense of the beauty of this flowering dynamic that is the human experience. It doesn't tell you where it comes from, why it was created, how it works, where it's going. There is an element of the tragic in it, and there's an element of the poignant in it that is indescribable because we have no idea where it's going or what will happen, other than the ultimate truth of where it goes, which is unknowable in us in a way. But I walk through and I get filled with this space that is very reflective of the deep inner place I go when I sit quietly, when I take a breath, even when I walk. I go to this place of honoring this journey. I do not understand it. I do not claim to tell you what life is, and I don't think I would listen to anybody tell me what life is. But I will tell you, the experiential reality of feeling your life, feeling the dynamic of the people who have filled your life, feeling this continuity and this incredible day to day sunrise, sunset, breathing in, breathing out experience of life is extraordinary. Now, when life starts to project itself into chaos and into drama and into fearsome zones, let's say, what can you do to move through that? Well, chop wood, carry water, walk around your house, buy one of these screens if you want, and look at pictures of people you love cropping up over and over and go, oh, that feels wonderful. And go deep inside and find the resources that exist there to sustain you in any given moment. The worst thing right now would be to ignore and deny the skill set that you have all built in yourself that you use either regularly or on occasion. But whenever it is or however you do it, if ever there's a time to find your way back into the joy, the not knowing, the simplicity, the non-mental equation of your life, the guiding element of your being, to find your way back, and you can sit and do a big meditation. You can just take a breath. You can just go inside and go, please help me to surrender. And boom, boom, there you are in the midst of the worst stuff. On some days, it's not hard, it's easy, everything is fine. And on other days, the world is just in your face. And it's in a lot of our faces right now. And it is really dramatic. It's the best movie ever, as I think I said last week. I mean, this is unbelievable. If there's ever been rooting interest for good to win, this is a time for that. But a lot of people are not rooting for good to win. Their version of it is destroy everything, and out of that will come this new supreme thing. Or the arrival of the ultimate transformational, going into the final battle and the final heaven. That there are people rooting on different sides of this equation, and you have to kind of allow for that. But pick your equation, root for it, and then also recognize that there's something vast, extraordinary at the core that is the dynamic of this film. It is the creator of this film, and we are in it. Does it end well for us? Well, you're going to die. Is that a bad thing? I'm approaching this time. Forgive me, I talk about this a lot, but when my mom was 73, she said to me, I'm only going to see you maybe 10 more times in my life. And I went, what? What? Are you crazy? No, you're not. You're going to see me lots of times. I couldn't understand what she was going through, but I only saw her 4 more times in my life. And she died at 74, reaching for something in the cupboard and falling on the floor and stroke, aneurysm. Something like that happens to every one of us. Something like that. It could be shorter, it could be longer, it could be, more dramatic, but not one of us is going to escape that thing. And I have the same feeling. You all know me because I'm a dramatist and I go through all these, oh my God, and I'll probably be here to 100 because my grandfather was. But the feeling right now is, I don't know how many more times I will see you. But what's happening inside because of that is a kind of awareness of finality, an awareness of the end of the ride. And this social fabric that we have that's seeming to kind of come unfrayed at this moment in time brings a lot of us into thinking about those kinds of things, suffering, discomfort, and maybe death itself. I find suffering more problematic than death, and I don't know that I know exactly what death is, but I have a pretty strong inclination from the depths of my own experience that it is welcoming, that it is not a horror show. I mean, God knows, I think it could be. I think there is a profound unraveling that takes place as you leave this world, unless you've done that before you leave, which is, of course, part of what my movies have been about, and a kind of the idea that there's work to be done here to free yourself of the world when you leave, or probably in the Tibetan sense, you have to go through it all and undo the knots and all the stuff that's been created for you or you've created. But you can do all that right now. You can do it all right now. You can just sit down and go like that. It's not that hard. It's not like, oh my God, I got it. That's the wrong version. The real version is okay, okay. It's really like that. And if you can kind of get into that simple place and feel this thing that I'm describing, which I feel every day, particularly when I'm teaching, but every day I feel this thing inside, and it is so full of love and nourishment and caring and kindness and goodness and all of this stuff. It so wants to nourish and take care of and embrace and help everyone. What is that? And why is it sitting inside me? And am I the only one? No, hardly. Every one of you has that exact thing in you. And if you're not feeling it and not finding it, then find it. Just go there, find it. Get one of those little screens and have pictures of people you love and walk around and feel it. Feel the joy that has been in your life, or even the sadness that's been in your life. Feel the pain that's been in your life and try to make it all part of this exquisite, unbelievable journey that you have been on for however many years, and which is going to, probably sooner than later, come to a close. And it will do that. It will come to a close. And it will be probably uncomfortable. And if you don't know how to deal with discomfort, and most of us don't, then you should learn. And I can't tell you what that is, but I'm, again, talking my drama, but I wake up with so much discomfort. And other than Blanche, who has to sometimes listen to it, I just go, wow, wow. And I realize it's all part of the dissolution. But rather than get angry at it, I just go, wow, this is how it works. It takes you apart. It dismantles you. And I'm fascinated by the journey. And one of the things I'm discovering is I think it's always, it's about Bruce, but at night now my dreams are unbelievably intense, and there's no Bruce in any of them. Not, I don't even know where Bruce is in that, and there are dramas going on and all these things going on, and maybe it's always been like that. But I kind of remember in the old days there was Bruce there. There's no Bruce. It's just stuff. It's just stuff. And the thing that gets me and allows me to go through the journey of all this stuff is there's a core space that is so quiet and so still pointed, the deep sleep image of you know it when you fall asleep. There's a moment where you go, oh, you just give yourself over to it. You can do that all day long. You can give yourself over to this moment inside yourself where you just go, oh. And that is the saving grace of human life. Something is there. If I am wrong, you can shoot me. I don't know what to tell you. But all I can say is this is my journey. It was Rudy's journey, as far as I can tell. It probably goes back to Buddha, etc. If we're all wrong, oh well, you know. But if we're not wrong, get on board. Find this place in yourself that allows you that kind of comfort, even as you disintegrate all around yourself and even in your mind. Find your way back to this unbelievable beauty that is at the core of who and what you are. Find your way back. You will not find your way back through your mind. Trust me, the mind goes. It's just not working for you. But this other thing, this deep inner thing, finds its way back to this space inside that is not even inside. There's no inside or outside. It just is. And there you are. And every one of these classes tries to help you get there. It actually brings energy to that search. It actually finds that space in you and tries to vibrate it enough so you go, oh, yeah, yeah. But you can do it yourself. And you need to do it yourself because we are in times where the outside is going to become vibrationally potent. And you need to find the still point that can ride through that with love and simplicity and calmness and grace. That's what you have to do. That's what I have to do. We all do it, and we can do it together as long as we're allowed to Zoom along and talk to each other without, you know, the drama of observers telling us you can't do this, you can't do that. Right now, we can do it. So we'll do it. I love you all. I mean, I can talk forever. There's no reason to at this point. Chop wood, carry water. Let that be the final thing of this experience. Angela, that by the way was beautiful. Just watching those stars go by. I'll throw one little quick thing out at you as well. Angela connected me to a filmmaker um, who did a short film. I just saw it the other day. Let me see if I can. Well, the filmmaker made a film called Openings, and I'm gonna send you a link to it, all of you. It's a tiny little short film. It is like I'm talking to him today. We've never met. I wrote him a love letter, but I've never met him. And this film is kind of about some of the things I'm talking about, and it is really stunning. His name is John Merrill, I believe. Am I right?
Yes, John Marrow.
Yeah, yeah. Again, I haven't met him, but I will send you a link. You should all watch it. It talks a little bit about the transformative moment we're in. Worth watching. Just to stimulate and see other people who've been stimulated by the possibility of unbelievable transformational change awaiting us sooner than later. So be prepared for that email. Again, let me ask if there's any questions. I'm happy to answer questions, but God knows I've talked enough. Nothing? Okay. Uh, I love you all. Thank you so much for showing up, and we'll keep trying to do this. Next week we'll be in person and class and Zoom. Bye, guys.